Howdy. Today we're looking at Panthera Prime. Panthera back in the day before the Prime came out, which came out with the Naros Prime Axis, I think. Panthera was one of my favorite weapons for a long time. I mean, it shoots buzzsaws, who would not love a fully automatic buzzsaw shooting death machine. It's quite satisfying. So I'm sure you can imagine how excited I was when I figured out Panthera Prime was going to be a thing. Then I was gravely disappointed because it is not much of an upgrade over the normal Panthera and it is still not that strong of a weapon. But we can make it work, and that's what we're going to be doing. So, if you like my content, maybe subscribe, that would be awesome. A large portion of my consistent viewers are not subscribed, so press that button, that would be awesome. It means the world. So, here's the quick Nova fashion in case you're curious. Just so nobody asks. So Panthera, first of all, we will compare it to the normal Panthera. The Prime version has slightly higher fire rate, higher magazine size, a fair bit higher crit chance, but the problem is the crit chance still isn't high enough. It's still only 18, which is pretty bad. And then status goes up to 30. That's pretty much it for the most part, right? Like, just a little bit higher stats, not even higher base damage. So Panthera shoots. Oh wait, it also has a gimmick, I forgot. So Panthera shoots buzzsaws that can ricochet once or twice, I think. The Prime version has a little AoE impact. You can see the radial attack. That AoE does almost no damage. It's pretty much irrelevant. Like, it's a stupid gimmick that does jack shit. It also has an alt fire though, both the primary or the Prime and the normal version. When you shoot a buzzsaw, it works like a beam weapon and it holds it out. It only consumes ammo on hit. This is actually really freaking strong. Surprisingly so. And we'll show that later on. So the weapon is obviously slash weighted, being at 20 impact, 10 puncture, 70 slash for a total of 100. The radial attack has 20% fall off, only 20 damage. All slash though, and a 1.6 AoE. The crit rate is and stats are actually higher on the alt fire, 100 base damage, 26% crit chance, and 38% status. And since it works like a beam weapon on the alt fire, multi-shot actually affects it differently. So you can pretty much tell that it's going to be a status built weapon. You're still going to want to build crit because it will affect your damage, but you're going to want to go status chance. Or, sorry, statuses. The problem with that is there's not really any good arcanes. You could go dexterity, which I prefer, but we're trying to show the weapon without having to get melee kills. So we'll be using Merciless. Though Merciless does help the horrible base reload speed, it is 1.8 right now, the base is 2.4, which you'll really feel. It kind of fucking sucks. Sucks ass. Terminal velocity helps increase the projectile flight speed, but Stabilize is also a nice option because the recoil is pretty intense. We want shreds so we get punch through. I don't think punch through affects the beam, right? The little buzzsaw you hold out, but it does affect the primary. And fire rate is nice. Crit chance, crit damage, viral, multi-shot, galvanized aptitude for status chance and base damage, and Fang Fusillade to give us heavier slash weighting so we don't get too much viral damage. Now, nothing is affecting our damage on our Warframe, as you can see. Let us go ahead and spawn in the enemies. Obviously, from what you saw, we got no flat damage, not until we get a kill. It actually does better than you would expect before having any stacks, better than a lot of other weapons do before getting stacks. But even after you get stacks, the damage is not as high as I would like it to be. And keeping Merciless stacks up is not an easy thing to do normally. Not if you're doing any sort of objective game mode and you have to run around and not get kills constantly. Like, you literally need kill every, 3-4 seconds to keep primary Merciless up? Yeah, 3 seconds, that's pretty terrible. So we have a max stacks, not kind of Merciless now. And you can see the slash procs are okay. Right? Like, that was a fourth of the magazine, though. Do a few shots out, does damage. Now, if we do the alt fire, though, That was only 4 ticks of damage, right? You don't even need to get headshots. As it starts ticking on the enemy, the slash box from the alt fire actually kind of insane. A little wacky. Because it has the low crit chance, we can actually almost hit 100% with Arcane Avenger. So I will switch to that. Still nothing affecting our damage here. We're just going to slap on Avenger. And then we are going to unpause the AI, reset them, and make ourselves invincible. Now Arcane Avenger will be able to proc. You have to get our stacks back up, but you can see much more crits now, which is obviously having a fairly big impact on our damage overall. Very, very big impact on our damage, or DPS. As we get our stacks up, we need our multi-shot to be maxed out, preferably, especially because it's going to affect the beam version even more so. 4 stacks, 5 stacks. Now we'll count the shots, right? This guy undamaged. 6 shots, pretty good. Now we do this. What, 2, 3 procs? Pretty good. Now, even though it is low crits and high status, if you go with Avenger, instead of going for higher slash weighting, another option, which people are, there's definitely going to be those dummy dumbs in the comments that are like, but don't worry about it. You can actually go Hunter Munitions, because our crit chance is going to be at 99% once Arcane Avenger is active. And that will give us even more slash procs. And it actually ends up being more slash procs, I think, than going with slash weighting, assuming we have Avenger on. And you'll see it's actually going to make our damage even higher than it was before. After we start getting our procs up, you'll see here. You can see the damage is already a fair bit higher. The reason there was an orange crit there is wait, why was there an orange crit there? Wait. Oh, because there was a puncture proc, and that gives flat crit chance. That's why. I forgot about that. Okay, we now have max stacks on everything that's not merciless. So let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. That compared to before, it was like 6 shots. I'd say it's a bit more damage. It ends up being higher damage just by a little bit, or so it would seem. I've used this weapon a fair bit, but the problem with that is that, right, you're like, it's an arcane slot just to make the Hunter Mumu work. Now you are going to have decent front up damage, I guess. I mean, it's not insane, but here's the beam. Still, the beam actually ends up doing less with Hunter Mumu, but it's still fairly decent damage. So you can run Hunter Munitions if you want, but I don't know. It's probably a better option to just stick with going slash weighting instead. It does have a Riven Dispo of 4, so a Riven would be pretty good for this. I don't have one, not as of right now at least. I would very much like to get one in the future though. You can go not viral on the weapon, and then you can try to outsource viral. So let's say we wanted to remove viral off the weapon. You take both of those mods off. Then the question is, what would you run in its place? Because, well, you know, obviously we need something to take over it. I'm actually not going to be able to fit anything off if I don't reform us, so we're doing that right now. Don't worry about that. There we go. Reform it. So you can actually go more damage if you wanted with, say, heavy caliber, but that does affect your accuracy, which is kind of a problem. Oh wait, duh, Serration. I forgot Serration wasn't already on. I'm stupid. Yeah, Serration, there. More damage, which means our slash procs will be even bigger. And since we have no viral, now we're going to get even more slash procs, right? Like, that's going to help quite a bit. Though our status chance went down, and that is a problem. I really wish we had a status chance and slash primary mod like there is for secondaries from Deimos? I don't think there is. I could be wrong about that. Correct me in the comments if there is, because that would be glorious to have. Absolutely beautiful. So now it's like, what do you run? Because there isn't really a whole lot we can go for status chance. So I suppose in this case, we would give up slash, right? We would have lower slash weighting. However, you can run rhyme rounds here. Because then we have cold. Cold procs increase our crit damage, and it's going to be buffed in Jade Shadows, and then that allows us to run primary Frostbite, giving us even more crit damage, as well as multi-shots. So then if you need viral, you can run Panzer Vulpaphyla, or you can just use a frame with Nourish. Nourish is the only thing in this build that would affect our damage. And because Nourish is, well, our strength isn't really high, we don't have insanely high viral weighting. So this will likely end up being better here. Wait, we probably still want Arcane Avenger, right? Nah, I won't show it with Avenger yet. We'll just show it as is. So we'll do this, and we'll show it with Panzer Vulpaphyla first. Then I'll take off Vulpaphyla, and I'll show it with Nourish. And then I'll show it with one of the two for viral while having Avenger as well. Since we're getting a lot of crit damage now because of the cold and Frostbite and, you know, already having crit damage mods on. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have Reinforced Bond on our pet. That's why our freaking fire rate's insane. Tenacious Bond as well, which is giving us more crit damage. Now, look at that. Now, look, we already have our Frostbite maxed out. And you can see even our slash weighting is still higher than it was with Vival before. And now they're also maxing out on cold procs pretty fast. And then the beam version... one proc. Yes, there were max viral stacks, but literally one hit from the beam did it. That did not crit, so it did not, unfortunately. But you can see it's got some big damage. There's some people have done some funny level cap Demolist kills with the beam fire. So you can use the normal fire for like fodder and the beam to melt big tanky enemies like Demolists. Which is pretty fun. So yeah, it's a weapon. It's not as good as I wish it was, but it can be used. It has value. So now let's show it without Panzer Vulpaphyla. So you can get an idea for what it's like with the elemental weighting changing because of Nourish. So now we spawn these guys in, cast this, and since we have Serration and Frostbite, it's a lot easier to get kills before we have stacks built up. Right, see, not too bad. Now we have our stacks start building up. The viral is still taking a fair bit of time to max out. That's why I don't think Nourish is going to be the best option. This might even be... I think this is lower damage, possibly. 6 hits? No, it's still higher damage than the normal viral slash build, I'd say. Or at least depending on how lucky we are with crits and statuses. Same to higher to lower, similar-ish damage. So it's up to you which you want to do. But Panzer would probably. If you're using this weapon, you're using it because you like it, not because it's good. So you're going to have to give up or give in to the fact that you're probably going to have to build into it regardless. So accept your fate now. Now we'll switch back to Avenger and rewrap Panzer Vulpaphyla back on. Reset these enemies. Oh wait, I don't need energy. Why am I trying to go back? And now we're going to do big peak damage. Beautiful. Vials start spreading. They all get clapped. Look at that. Look at the amazing slash procs. That was 2 shots. That was 3 shots. Damn. Somehow didn't get all crits there, even though we have like 99% per chance. Pretty good, if you ask me. And this weapon is very fun to use. And fun is, at the end of the day, the point of playing a video game. So if someone's like, ooh, that's not optimal, What you should tell them is to suck your dick and get fucked. Because you can use whatever the hell you want. Even if I say something's bad, right? There's a lot of stuff I say sucks ass. If you like it, who cares? It don't matter what I say, use it. So, just run whatever the hell you like. This is pretty much it. There's not a whole lot else I can do with the weapon, I'd say. So I guess that's going to be it for the video for the most part. Subscribe, please. Maybe. If you subscribe, your IQ goes up by 10,000. Actually, for real, for real. No cap on God, as the kids would say. Adios.